Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As I was preparing to record this video for you, I was thinking, how shall I start this video after a few days of not posting on YouTube anything. I have posted few pictures on my Instagram, so those of you who follow me there, you've been updated on my little getaway for Christmas. I want to say this because it's not easy to go through those kind of holidays and seasons. And the case when you celebrate by yourself, alone, completely alone. And second is when you know that whatever we are celebrating is not actually the truth. So even me posting a picture with Christmas tree, doing my best to focus on goodness and light and the positive aspects of that holiday. I am very aware that Christ was not born on the Christmas Eve of December 24th. The longer I live, the more I come across, the more I read and hear. It actually proves the fact that everything has been twisted, manipulated. We've been lied to on so many levels. The calendar alone itself is not the true calendar. So pretty much everything. So how do you feel being in the middle of that holiday by yourself, thinking that this is not really Christ's day? Well, can be overwhelming sometimes when you are too much into those so-called conspiracy theories, or maybe we are living in one large conspiracy theory that they so-call it reality. Nevertheless, guys, today video will be slightly different. Of course, we will go through few breaking news because there's so much going on in the world that you you have to choose where your attention goes. I think the larger picture is really what they are trying to distract us from. I also want to share something with you that I don't know if you are experiencing, the weather. Why I'm saying this, because I was for 3 days, for 2 nights in Warsaw. And when I arrived there on the 24th, and 25th, those 2 days were beautiful. For the first time in a very long time, we had clear skies, sun was shining, it was just great energy. Yesterday, the same mist, the same fog came back, and it was very cold, it still is. The sky has the same shade of gray, not even slightly different. Like someone just sprayed the same stuff all over it. And the energy has changed. People were actually walking in Warsaw. I was one of those people that was really, really slippery because it was under -7, I think, around -3, -8, -7. And it was really slippery. You had to be very careful. And there was this level of irritation and at the same time being cautious and careful how you walk. Why I'm saying all of this to you, starting my video in more like personal human way. That's how we should, I think. I think this is the way we really have to continue, to be real, authentic, and very much human. Because the more AI takes over, soon you will be not able to tell the difference, who is real, who is not. So your intuition has to be sharp and on point. But I wanted to ask you guys, have you been experiencing similar weather conditions in whatever country, from whatever country you are watching me from? Please put in the comment section. I would really like to know, because that fog over, I believe, most of Poland has been going on, I would say now almost 2 months. There were very few sunny days that we had. And when I was talking to the taxi driver on my way back to the railway station, that's what he said the same. He said in Warsaw was the same as we had here in Szczecin, northwest Poland. Even though the climate is different in Warsaw than it is here closer to the Baltic coast, right? So let me know. Before we start with the topics that I have for you today, I want to say, because I have not been posting, as you know, for about 4 days now, I think, I want to say thank you to all of those of you who have donated on my PayPal in the last few days, and that is Christopher, Grzegorz, dziękuję panie Grzegorzu, looks like definitely Polish person, Grzegorz, thank you, Linda, Robert, Tanya, and Gudrun, thank you so much for your donations, guys. You have no idea how much I appreciate your support. And to everyone who purchased my book, Matilda's and Odo's Adventures is my children book #1. The link is down below the video and the description box. You purchase it by making payment on PayPal. That's the best way for me at this moment. I have already mailed part of the orders out, and I will continue after the weekend. As you know, we had holidays, so everything is closed. But this is the way how I support myself. No sponsorships, no brand deals. It's just me and my great book for kids. More coming, so I hope you will consider buying it. So where do we start, guys? Let's start with something that I didn't address before, and that is the decorations for Christmas at the White House. You know, I pay attention to a lot of things. Sometimes I think I pay attention to too much because I see a lot, I feel a lot, and I see a lot. And then when something tells me that you see an object, a symbol, and it feels off and awkward, I trust that feeling. But I didn't talk about it. So I decided to do it today, to start with the symbols at the White House. That is the decoration for the Christmas time, few of those symbols. But before we go to that particular decoration, I want to point out at this post that I came across on Instagram. Here is the image, as you can see. You will see where this is actually exactly placed at the White House in Washington, D.C. Someone says, what WTF, you know, what the F, is that BAAL means, you know, evil, Satan, symbolism doing in the White House. So let's look into it. So this is where it's placed. Here you have the White House and the Christmas decoration. Here is the mirror, and it's above the frame. There is one more picture here. They just put Kash Patel and his girlfriend, who probably is his handler, very much likely. But that's what you see right here. So now let's go to the video. Let's go to the video, guys. Official video from the White House presenting to you Melania Trump, the First Lady, walking you through the White House and how it has been decorated for this Christmas. So we're going to look at this video first, and then I'm going to point at something that really got my attention the first time I saw this clip. I didn't address it, but I think since we are still in this kind of vibe of the season, I will do it now. So I mute myself. We play the original music, the sound with this video, and then we go back to one particular symbol. Okay, so I wonder how many of you seen other symbols that, of course, I had. But there is one particular moment that really got my curiosity here. Why? Why did she, or whoever was in charge, decided to use butterflies? Lots and lots of butterflies on a Christmas tree as one of the main decoration objects. My first thought when I saw this was MK Ultra, okay? I know many of you will say that I am, too maybe too much detail oriented. I don't believe there is something like too much detail oriented, but let's close this video. We clearly seen those butterflies. So those of you who don't know why I'm saying MK Ultra, because the symbol for the mind control, MK Ultra, is a monarch butterfly. And why is that? Well, here, I'm just gonna read you. That's the easiest way to present this to you. Just gonna read you what is the monarch mind control. Monarch mind control, or Project Monarch, well, let's say it's a popular conspiracy theory alleging a secret government program used to create sleeper agents or mind-controlled slaves through severe trauma-based conditioning. So let's go through this. Origin and connection to MK Ultra. While often linked to the real MK Ultra and a confirmed CIA program from the 1950s and 60s that experimented with drugs like SLD and sensory deprivation for behavior modification, there is no official declassified evidence that a specific program named Project Monarch ever existed. Proponents of the theory claim Monarch was highly classified sub-project or a successor to MK Ultra that utilized more extreme methods. Well, I'm one of those that believe that is true, that there was Monarch mind control, maybe still is. And let me scroll down here, because this is actually a butterfly that is called Monarch. Monarch, to be exact, let's see, the monarch butterfly, yeah, but it's also a symbol. So I ask, what is the symbol of MK Ultra? And here it says, Project MK Ultra does not have an official logo or symbol as a top secret CIA program. It was identified primarily by its cryptonym rather than a visual mark. However, several symbols are widely associated with the project in popular culture or conspiracy circles. So I guess I'm one of those conspiracy circles. So let's just go through this. The monarch butterfly, while biologically separate, the monarch butterfly is the most famous symbol linked to MK Ultra in conspiracy theories. It is alleged to represent trauma-based mind control and the metamorphosis of a victim's personality. So let me tell you, when I saw that video and I saw those blue butterflies, I was wondering, since when you actually put butterflies on a Christmas tree? Just my way of thinking. I might be completely wrong. And then the first thing right away said, why butterflies? And I connected with this. A lot of celebrities, actually, a lot of entertainers, they have the tattoos with butterflies. You know, Mariah Carey likes butterfly too, very much. So there is a big trend of that butterfly symbol. Of course, not all of them are MK Ultra, but when you think about Hollywood or, you know, music industry, what do you really think about? Who did they, most of them, if not all of those who really succeeded, sold their souls to? So on that note, who they sell their souls to? In Germany, during Christmas, maybe you've seen this, but let me find it, guys. I have again a lot of topics for you today. So before we play this, someone is walking here. Who is this? A stuntman wearing a gold mask and a black cloak disrupted Christmas Eve Mass at the Cologne Cathedral in Germany, sowing confusion among the faithful and forcing a brief halt to liturgical celebration. Parents present at the ceremony report that many children broke down to tears as they saw the man advance down the central hallway to the altar, describing scenes of panic, contained, and looks of fear among the little ones. Several attendees express that the temple, traditionally associated with a peaceful atmosphere on Christmas Eve, became for a few minutes a place of tension and uncertainty they will hardly forget. So, what are they doing? I think we know. It's not a surprise. I think we're gonna see more and more evil things coming up to the surface because that's how you have to face the truth. Since we are on the topic of conspiracies, I want to go through this. This is a very cool summary. We're gonna stay on this Instagram, not channel, but account for a moment. It says, me going down the conspiracy rabbit hole just to arrive at the same conclusion again. So here you have Mel Gibson, Candace Owens, and Nick Fuentes. Then you see Britney Spears, the USA we grew up in, the USA we now live in. This is another example of abuse, mind control, what they did to Britney Spears. I think most of you, if not all of you, really know. It's truly tragic, to be honest. Merry Christmas, America, and Happy Holidays. That's how it looks like. The Earth is a resort for like 500 rich people, and the rest of us are just the stuff. And now 3 kids say, are Jews really controlling the world? It's the Qataris. And you know who's saying this? Let's stop for a moment. You know who's saying this? It's the Qataris. Miss me with that gay shit, that gay shit. If around gay niggas draw these cards to become untouchable by all faggotry displayed. Most Zionists don't believe that God exists, but they do believe that he promised them Palestine. This is said by Israeli historian. Here, Americans should know this. 900,000 Jewish settlers live in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. None of them work. They live off government funding, free housing, free healthcare, free everything. And it is all paid by your US tax dollars. Bill Gates admits to dumping 200 million tons of sterilizing chemtrails on US cities. This is from December 20th, 2025, FYI. Candace is wrong. Trust the government. Oh, and of course, Erica Kirk. This photo comes from Erica Kirk's Instagram. It was taken in August 2012 in Constantia, Romania, while she was promoting the charity Romanian Angels, located near a US military base and run by US Colonel Otto Buscher. A whistleblower uncovered the charity as a front for trafficking underage girls, but authorities did not investigate. I have to say, I'm not sure if this is a legit photo or not, but, you know, probably not too far away from the truth. An occupied nation, the menorah on the lawn. The Supreme Court ruled Christian symbols cannot be displayed. This is from December 17 this year, everyone. Jewish symbols can. This tells you everything about who rules America. A new map of Palestine or Holy Land. Palestine equals country, aka the Holy Land. Here we have, you remember this guy? This was the attack in Australia on the Bondi Beach. And he was all covered in so-called blood and was taking selfies. And he was the same one who actually was in Gaza. I think he was an IDF soldier, right? Look at them. They are taking selfies while watching the hostage being released. Absolute monsters. There is no evidence between these ordinary Gazans and those who stormed Israel and took the hostages on October 7th. So this is this guy, Arsen Ostrowski, who says this. He said that in the post in February 22nd, he said this, look at them, they are taking selfies while watching the hostage being released. Absolute monsters. What a shit show, huh? Here it says, Mossad, by way of deception, thou shalt do war. The same guy that was previously says this, it's an absolute dead cult in Gaza. There are no civilians, only compliances. Gaza equals Hamas and Hamas equals Gaza. The sooner Trump clears out this hellhole, the better. So this guy said this, and he also said this. Now we have the Zionist cycle. By the way, I showed you this in videos ago, how this guy, who was the creator, allegedly, right, of the Zionism, looks very much like the current president of Syria. So how this cycle looks like? Where shall we start? Oh my goodness. Well, let's start with the fake. Fake a major attack. Then you gain people's sympathy through exaggerated statistics, okay? Then what happens? You compare events to past atrocities, for example, Holocaust or 9/11. Then you use this to justify an invasion of the enemy. Then you go to the total annihilation, I'm sorry if I mispronounce, of innocent enemy. So you separate, isolate them, right? Discard them. Truth starts to come out. So this is where we are now. Anti-Semitism rises. Okay, so we are kind of like right here, and we are crossing the bridge to fake a major attack. So that's where we are. Next. You've seen this at the White House during the celebration of Hanukkah. They put this tape, and then they should put the cube here also on the forehead. This is at the White House, everyone. Chabad Lubavitch, Mazel Tov. Yeah, let's look at the whole thing. And the cube, yes. Oh, he didn't show the cube. Well, wage war against evil. So we're gonna go to, this is a good, I'm gonna mute myself in a moment. This is a good summary of what's really going on. So let's take a listen.
And you heard me mention in the lead up to our conversation how we have been perpetually at war every single year for decades on end. Like, I didn't even realize that until I started looking into this. But we have always been perpetually at war, and none of these wars bolstered the national security interests of our country. None of these wars benefited the United States economically. None of these wars have made Americans any safer or any more prosperous or any more free. In fact, they have had the opposite effect in every way. Because when you go and you bomb communities and you bomb entire countries and you run their natives off of their own homeland and then intentionally displace them throughout the West for this intentional clash of civilizations, particularly between blacks and whites or Muslims and Christians, well, then you win.
Yeah, it's been a plan from the beginning. And this, and to your audience, this goes back to the war in heaven. They are intentionally inflating everything so that they can reset this system. And then what's the solution? Oh, the solution is a one world government, a one world religion, one world digital currency. That is coming. It's pretty much here.
And I agree, that's what's going on. And now, since many people don't even know where Nigeria is, so let's take a look at the map. And let's look at Africa. As if Africa did not suffer enough already. Nigeria. Let me show you guys. Let's just focus. You can see it on the screen. So you see the continent of Africa, Nigeria is right here. Gulf of Guinea. So, why? Because during Christmas time, US attack Nigeria, or to be precise, those extremists, as it was explained. Another story. Who abuse, kill Christians. So, if I'm not mistaken, because I have no idea about African politics, but as I was preparing for this video for you, in the country, in the state of Nigeria, 50% of people are Islam believers, Muslims, maybe 51, 52, but let's say 50, and 48 or 47 is Christian. So there is almost 50-50. So let's take a listen. Is it really about protecting Christians, or is it really about something else? And as far as protecting Christians, maybe the action could also be taken in another country that is not nice to Christians. We're going to look into it. Country that should not be mentioned, you know which one. But at the end of the day, when you look at all of this, you just see this is the same old formula over and over again. Divide and conquer, black and white, Muslim Christians, this and that. That's why they are able to control, because they are able to make people choose. It's not even Christianity when you look at it, because within Christianity, how many churches are there? Like 30,000 or something? So if there's one religion, it should be just one religion, right? If it's Islam, it should also be one Islam. Am I correct or not? Because it looks like there are divisions of those religions as well. So let's take a listen. This guy will summarize it perfectly.
America bombed Nigeria today. America bombed northwest Nigeria, claiming that they needed to get the terrorists out. Imagine if a country like Nigeria or anywhere else bombed America to get the Christian radical extremists out.
I'm just saying.
Where is Turning Point USA? Where's Nicki Minaj with all the things happening in Israel? Israel, the Christians went back to Bethlehem to celebrate Christmas for the first time in years since the conflict was going on. And the Israeli police were arresting Palestinian Christians. So where are you guys at? Where's the same energy for? Where is this happening at in Israel? And best believe the bombing in Nigeria is not about people, Nigerians being harmed. It's about oil.
Look at what is being done to Christians all around the world.
It's about oil and it's about the region. But where is Nicki Minaj? Where are you at? Because you are a Christian that's fighting for Christians, right? What about the Christians in the birthland of Jesus Christ? Things that make you go,
Yes, things that make you go, Where is Turning Point USA, right? So what is the real reason that US bombed Nigeria? I have zero knowledge about African politics. Zero. But one thing I know, even though I have never visited Africa, well, actually, I've been to Egypt, so it's part of Africa, right? I guess. But I never been to Kenya or South Africa or Zambia or Congo or Nigeria or, by the way, Sudan as well, right? What's up with Sudan, everyone? Don't you think Sudan should be first as far as oppressing, killing Christians? But one thing I know, that as long as I remember, the level of oppression, abuse, poverty, hardship, those poor children, no access to water, in the land so rich in minerals, so rich in resources, so rich in spirit and energy. Why they are so after Africa, right? It's almost like the spirit of God, let's say the light, it's so strong there in those people. You see those kids smiling, even though they have nothing, right? But then at the same time, the evil is almost equally, if not, it looks like more strong. So that fight for Africa, I know some of you are watching me from there. Please let us know, if you know, what is really taking place. Because it looks like there will be a lot of conflicts taking place in that region, and they are already taking place. Here, one second, let me close this. Black winter is coming. You know who said this? He's the president of Burkina Faso. So he's warning about the bloodshed and wars to prepare for it. Oh my goodness, guys, you know, it's like sometimes you don't want to be here, right? You just don't want to be here because you look at all of this and you ask yourself, so what place is the best place? I think we really have to find it within ourselves. And when we find within ourselves, then our perception will change, and then we will end up in an environment that actually will be safe. That's how I look at it. One more interesting, very interesting story I came across is China ordering American babies. Let's look into it, because this is a crazy story. If it's true or not, well, very much likely this could be truth. That's pretty scary. So let's take a listen to what this guy has to say, how those deals look like, ordered from China, made in US, and sometimes delivered to China, sometimes stayed within US, and what is the reason for it? Why they are buying and ordering American children? If you heard about it, let me know as well in the comments.
Most shocking stories I've ever heard. But it turns out the most powerful elites from our main foreign adversary, China, are basically ordering American babies like they're spring rolls from Panda Express. The Wall Street Journal recently reported that Chinese billionaires are using California's relaxed surrogacy laws to have dozens, even hundreds, of American children without ever stepping foot in the United States. One of the Chinese billionaires they profiled, Zhu Bo, openly admitted to having over 100 children through American surrogates. He just sent over his genetic material, and within a year, he got back a baby with the full rights and privileges of American citizenship. Another prominent Chinese executive hired US models as egg donors to produce at least 10 baby girls with the stated intention of eventually marrying them off to other powerful businessmen. And some of these babies are sent back to China immediately. Others stay here to be raised by nannies. And there's now an entire American industry built around this. So obviously a bit disturbing, also ripe for human trafficking, child exploitation, and abuse. But it's also probably a national security issue, right? I mean, even putting aside the prospect of literally creating a Manchurian candidate, it doesn't take a whole lot of imagination to see how the system can be exploited by some horrible people in America's worst enemies. So this has got to be one of the most shocking stories I've ever.
So if this is true, again, I don't know. This is pretty crazy, don't you think? And if it's happening between China and US, it can happen between any other nation, really, right? So you have money and you do it. What's the reason for it? What's the motivation? Who is behind it? Is it really worth it to have that child in US? You know, the longer we look into those things, the crazier stuff we see. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. That's all I have for you today. That's all I have for you. It wasn't easy for me to come back on YouTube after those few days, even though it wasn't the most uplifting days for me personally. But I have to say that when you don't report on things like this for a few days, it's hard to go back to it because you know that you have to bring your energy and focus even on the lower frequency. I wish you all safe place to be in and live in. I wish you peace in mind in spite of it all, and to really find stable place in your consciousness, in your mind, in your awareness, because even if we look into it, we cannot be in fear. That's what they want. So we acknowledge it, but we don't give our energy to it. That's the reality they want to create for us, right? I will attach all the links down below in the description box. Very much would appreciate your comments. What do you think about it? Everything I was showing you today. Thank you for being my audience, for all your support, for all your wishes under my posts on the community page. And thank you to everyone who is buying my book and supporting me this way. It means a lot to me. I just want you to know. And you can also have it dedicated, by the way, if you mention your name. And I email every person who makes a payment. So if you choose to support me on PayPal or Patreon or Locals, that's very appreciated as well. And if you have Instagram, actually, let me take you to my Instagram so you can see my latest trip. It's Ania K _44 right here. As you can see, it's in Warsaw. It was beautifully decorated. So if you follow me on Instagram, just go on Ania K _44 and make sure to follow me there. I would really appreciate, would like to hit 10,000 followers next year. I think we can do it. Some travels definitely coming next year, and you will be following me there. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hit the thumbs up if you appreciate the content, of course. It helps with the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already, or check your subscription. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge, and we are saving humanity. And I see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.